Welcome to a brand new episode of Lunch with Doug Plus, a unique and fun experience brought to you by the Music Exerbia Project. We are here today thanks to the generous support of our esteemed sponsors. John's Barbershop, located at 121 West Cherry Street in Nevada, Missouri. Open Tuesday through Friday, 10:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Walk-ins only, no appointment needed. The American Legion Post number 2, located at 402 East Cherry Street in Nevada, Missouri, newly remodeled with a clean, fresh look. Hey, welcome to the show, and as promised today, the man, the myth, Chris Ballew is with us. I'm so happy to have you. Kind of, to some.
I guess a little to myself sometimes. I'm a little bit of a myth, yeah. Thanks for having me, Doug. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man, I've been really excited to have you. I've been following your career for a really long time, and so I'll try not to be starstruck. You're one of my faves, so it's cool. I did bring along a show and tell for you, just so you know. I do own this.
That's rare. I've got one. I think I've got one of those left.
Yeah, they said there was only like 500 made, and I grabbed one immediately.
That's
So
cool. I think the mix of or the performance maybe of Video Killed the Radio Star on that is an alternate to the official version, which was on Pure Frosting. I think I sing it low. I can't remember. There's something weird about that version of Video Killed the Radio Star, but
yeah, they're both different than what that were on the others.
Oh,
Maybe
really?
this cut of Peaches, because it's got Peaches on one side and Video Kill the Radio Star on the other side.
Yeah.
And maybe the version of Peaches might be one of the ones that you re-released with your Froggy, album, or what was it called? Frog something.
Froggy Style.
Froggy Style. Maybe that might be the same version that's on Froggy Style. I don't know.
I don't
doubt
think
it.
I don't think Peaches is on Froggy Style, is it? No, I don't think it is.
Not 100%. Not 100%. I don't know.
I'm a little hazy.
Yeah. So, well, I know who you are. You're Chris Ballew. You used to be in the Presidents. You've done a bunch of cool theme songs in various forms, various bands. We get to you now, your solo career. I'm talking to you because you got a new album coming out in September, and I'm very excited about it. And I know some others are too. Tell us about how you got on this solo journey of what, 1 year you put out like 3 albums in 2023. You just started like pumping these albums out.
I started making this solo music, well, kind of because other things sort of petered out. So the Presidents had an arc, and then during that, later part of that arc, I started doing Caspar Babypants, which was music for 0 to 5-year-olds and their parents. And I did that arc, and as that thing was finishing, this new sound started to creep in. It was weird. It was very intuitive. I almost felt it before I heard it or could focus it into songs. It was this vibe that I thought was intriguing, but I couldn't really place it. It was odd. It was an odd experience having this kind of like, here it comes, something's coming, I'm downloading something from the universe. And it turned out to be this kind of music that I'm calling pop cosmic. It's got pop hooks and melodies and lyrical kind of like phrases you can get hooked into, but it's got kind of a cosmic palette, kind of like phase shifting guitars and drum machines and delayed vocals and that kind of stuff, which I've really never officially played with in the song format before. I've done a lot of instrumental stuff like that for, like you said, TV shows and theme songs and stuff like that, and scoring video games. But this was like attaching a, vocal to it for the first time, really. And it just sort of blossomed. And it was during the pandemic. I had to cancel all of my Caspar Babypants shows. I had a big break from recording. I took like 9 months off and just played every day, but I didn't play with any sort of intention or goals. I just enjoyed the moment of playing. And out of that quietness and silence came that sound that was kind of hovering in the distance sort of took shape. And it was so inspiring. And I started, which I often do when I have a new arc starting, I kind of go back and listen to all the little fragments. I have thousands of little song fragments that are not really organized very well. They're just sort of in a big vat of MP3s. And so I just sort of randomly go through those and I listen to old stuff that I worked on in previous decades that never got finished. And I kind of hunt for stuff that might be relevant to what I'm doing now. So I did that, and it was really fun because as it turned out, a lot of songs that I wrote in the even in the early 80s when I was a teenager had this kind of similar aspiration to be the same vibe as the songs I was am doing for these solo records. So it's like I got to finish and edit and sort of scrape the DNA off of really old ideas and sort of collaborate with my younger self, which was a cool experience. So anyway, that like younger self collaboration and new songs and fragments from old songs that never got developed, all that created just this like whirlwind of inspiration. So yeah, I've been putting out 2 records a year since 2021. I put them out in July and January. And so far, I am not running out of ideas. I think the next record is the ninth one or 10th. I can't remember. I think it's nine. Um, and I still have, I don't know, something like 75 songs that are brewing, and a lot are finished and ready to roll and for future albums. So I'm just going to keep riding this ride until I'm told to get off and see what the next ride is. So yeah, that's kind of the whole story behind the new shit or stuff. I don't know if I can swear here.
No, you can say whatever. It's cool.
Okay,
So
okay.
the artwork is very intentional from album to album. It really seems like a series of something that you have
Yeah,
like you've pre-planned this thing, and it's like here's the artwork. It all kind of matches out. The
yeah.
singles drop, the single artwork matches. Tell me about how this art comes about.
Yeah, that's my art. There was a period, maybe like 2017 to 2020 or so, where I was really inspired to draw. And I went to art school in upstate New York. I got a Bachelor of Fine Arts, but mostly I just played around, goofed off. I had a rock and roll band, and somehow I ended up on the honor roll when it was, yeah, I was graduating and they were reading the names on the honor roll and I was on it. I was like, what? I didn't barely do anything. I don't know how I got on there. It must be a clerical error. Um, so yeah, I just didn't have anything to say when I was in art school. I was an 18, 19, 20-year-old kid, didn't have any perspective, but I did these drawings that were kind of like swirly and kind of like Matisse, kind of these like weird organic shapes, but I didn't have any context for what they were. Anyway, years and years later, I get into meditation. I get into sort of like the philosophy of where spirituality and physics commingle and all these ideas about existence and stuff that I'm actually somewhat touching on in the music that I'm doing. But before I touched on it in music, I started doing art. I started doing yoga every day and meditation, and I would get these kind of visions of like totems that were related to sort of how the mind relates to the body and life and death and birth and all these like you know, uh, elements of being a human, I guess. And so, yeah, I started drawing these sort of physical reminders of these states of mind that I was achieving during meditation and yoga. And that just exploded. And it's like I had all this art school education and I had something to say. So it was really fun to explore that whole thing. So all the artwork from the solo albums is drawn from this body of work that I did years ago. And I try to find an image that kind of fits the title and, kind of reverberates off the title and the theme of the record. So that's been really satisfying. And yeah, I am very much intentionally like the whole Caspar Babypants arc is the same artwork, same font, all done by my wife Kate, who's an amazing illustrator. And then yeah, this whole arc of albums is all my black and white stuff. I like for some reason I love sets. Like like you can get all the Casper albums, like 19 albums, and they all look like they came from the same and sound like. I pay a lot of attention to making it so that if you were to make a playlist using songs from all the Casper albums or all the solo albums, that they would sonically work in a playlist and feel like an album. So that's kind of another level of making a set that I
Mhm.
enjoy.
Well, that's cool. Yeah. So do they come out in physical, or are they only digital, or how's this work?
The Casper ones came out in physical, but yeah, the solo stuff I'm just doing digital. Although every fourth solo record, so the first four solo records have been edited down to be something called Volume One, which is an LP, like a vinyl LP. And that was out on a company called Bandbox. They went bankrupt, and another company has taken over, but for now that's unavailable, unfortunately. But for a little window there, you could get that. So I have done that, and I'm looking for a vinyl partner to do for volume two, which would be albums 4 through 8, um, edited down into a compilation. So that's the only physical thing I've planned on doing so far. It's kind of, frankly, really liberating to not do something physical because managing inventory, sending it out, going to record stores, getting invoices, blah blah blah. It's a lot of playing. It's a lot of like pretending to be a grown up.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think last I kind of emailed you a while back about just kind of what's up with you, and you had kind of expressed to me then you're kind of retired, sort of. And
Yeah,
this is kind of like you don't really tour these albums. You just this is music you make.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a definite like I think my natural habitat as a musician is the mad scientist at home in the home studio, painstakingly knitting together like a sonic experience. Live, I did my share of live shows. I mean, geez, the Presidents did about 600. As Caspar, I did about 1,300. And frankly, when the pandemic came along and everything had to be canceled, I didn't feel sad. I felt relieved. And I was like, what's that about? And then I kind of dug into it a little bit and realized, wow, playing live is stressful. Everything from like making sure the gear works, the travel, um, just it's hard to maintain your body and mind and nervous system while you're uprooted. And it was really just taking a toll. And I'm 60 years old now. I'm like I'm a young old man. And it just felt like time to get back to that original way that I related to making music, which was the guy in my bedroom with my 4 track and my synthesizers and my drum machines having fun, with the shades drawn. So yeah, it's my natural habitat for now. I'm a huge fan of Never Say Never, though, and I do sort of, as I'm mixing these new songs, sometimes I imagine how would this play in front of a festival crowd in Europe or something.
Mhm.
So there's still like an intrigue about it, but what I would love to do is franchise it and like hire a band to play my songs and go on tour without me. That would be amazing.
That's a very interesting idea there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
cool.
To be like, hey, I'm not into it, but here you go. I would assemble all the players, run rehearsals, like make sure everything's cool. And I'd do something where they'd all wear the same wig, and
Mhm.
a white jumpsuit or something, like homogenize it. I've thought about it, but then I'm like, it's nice out. I'll go take a walk.
Yeah. That I mean that sounds like something maybe that could be on Broadway. You could have like
Yeah.
a New York run at one of the theaters or
Yeah,
something.
sure, sure. Yeah, right, right. It'd be like a Broadway production, except no me.
Yeah. Well, that's Tommy, is back on Broadway,
Right.
and
There
I
you
think
go.
they should I think two of them showed up for opening night, and that's it.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
play with the cast on the late night show and then, call it good.
Right, right. I think there's only two Who's left, right? Uh,
I think so.
Roger
Yeah.
Daltrey and Pete
Yeah.
Townsend. Everyone else
Yep.
is sleeping with the fishes.
Yep. 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 That's correct. That's correct.
Wah
So,
wah.
I can't be a President's fan and not ask something about the Presidents. I did want to kind of steer
Absolutely.
away because I
I
know
love
you've
the
moved,
president.
I know you've moved on with new things, but I
No,
did
no, no.
notice.
I will never move on. I'm so proud of everything I've done in life. I'm happy to talk about any of it, but I'm very proud of the presidents. I love the presidents. So yes.
Yeah, I noticed it was 3 months ago. There was a YouTube post, and it escapes me the gentleman's name. He was a famous late night television host. He had a show.
Oh. Craig Ferguson.
Ferguson, that's him. And now he does this like blog thing. And then you and Jason were on his show,
Yeah.
on his blog talking about stuff. And of
Yeah.
course, all the president's fans are like, oh, Chris and Jason are doing an interview together, So was there any, I mean, I'm sure you guys stay in touch a lot and all that. Is there any talks of any kind of reunion type performances or things like of that nature?
There are inquiries a lot, not official. Well, actually, occasionally we get like a offer to go to Australia and play 6 shows or something like that. But the first time we broke up, we were broken up for 5 years, and during that 5 years, we made a President's record. We started a band and made a record with Sir Mix-a-Lot. We toured with Sir Mix-a-Lot. So, and we were like kind of not really broken up, but it felt kind of long. It's been 10 years next month since we've done a show. Uh, I don't think I love Never Say Never, but we're physically not capable of doing it, like if I look back at us doing like on YouTube every once in a while for fun, nostalgic reasons, I just go watch us like at, Pink Pop or big festivals in Europe or like club shows that we did that people recorded. It's high energy, and to not deliver that kind of show wouldn't really be fair. And we're just not capable of it, man. My elbows from years of playing guitar and running a mouse in the studio and playing piano, my elbows are shot. They're like constantly in pain. My feet are all messed up. I can't play guitar because of the elbows for more than like 4 minutes without, running out of gas. And I talked to Jason, and he's the same way. Like there was a minute there where we were going to back up a comedian at a club here in Seattle, and Jason and I were going to do it. And he pulled out his drum kit and started to play. And he's like, "I can't play drums anymore. It's just hurts. Everything hurts." So although we weren't the like tour horses that were or workhorses on tour that we could have been, we're all just feeling the age. And and plus I've done so many more shows than Jason and Dave, if you count the 1,300 shows I did as Caspar Babypants. So yeah, that's a long way of saying it's very unlikely because we care about the audience's experience, and we'd want to be able to put on that like high energy show. So I am experimenting with getting prolotherapy shots in my elbows. I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to try it. And it's supposed to like generate healing and fix things. And so maybe once I get that and I get bored enough, it'll happen.
Yeah. Now, do you guys got any like recordings that maybe are like sitting on the shelf that you have never released that could be possible, something that would come out
I
at
don't
some point?
think, I don't think, I think we have pretty much, I think we've released everything that's an actual song. I have weird audio clips of stuff like me and Dave before Jason joined the band. I have recordings of us rehearsing, forming the songs and writing the songs, which are interesting to listen to, but I'm not sure how many people really want to hear that. But, they're not new songs or anything. They're just us goofing off in 1993. Um, so yeah, no, I don't think there's anything. Although we are going to release this year because it's the 30th anniversary of the debut. We got our hands on a multi-track recording of our quote unquote last show in January of 1998 at the Paramount in Seattle. Our sound guy, Craig, recorded the whole show and put it away on a hard drive somewhere. And he had somebody archiving his stuff, and he found this show and sent it to us. And it sounded great. So we had it mixed for real. And we're going to release that. I'm working on the cover art now and all that stuff. So it's a full live show from that last live show, and we were kind of on fire that night. So it's pretty great. And there's a few covers, rare covers on there. Dead Kennedy's cover. Um, I think we do a Young Fresh Fellows cover. So there's a few unreleased bits on there, but nothing original by us. So
That's cool.
yeah.
Now, how will you guys put it out? Will it be
I think,
digital only
yeah, I think
also?
digital only for now. We've been approached by people to do vinyl, um, but it's a long show. It won't fit on one disc. We toyed around with the idea of making the debut only from the live show, like making it sound like we played all the songs from the debut onlys and put that on vinyl. But you know what? I mean, I don't want to be a curmudgeon or whatever, but vinyl always sounds like, yeah, let's do vinyl. And then it gets down to the nitty-gritty of doing vinyl, and it's so messy and complicated, and there's so many fingers in the pie, and there's so many ways it can go wrong, like the company you partner with going bankrupt and screwing over hundreds and hundreds of people who had ordered albums and non-existent t-shirts. And it's been, I think that Bandbox thing has been 3 years of trying to, you know, get all those orders filled to people. And people are like emailing me thinking that we've ripped them off. And anyway, it just,
Yeah.
it's really fun to be like, yeah, let's put it out on vinyl. And then, okay, now we got to actually, do a vinyl mastering and make the artwork and approve the mixes or the mastering and all that stuff. So I don't know. Anyway, we had a meeting about it the other day, and we all were like, just like, I don't really want to. No, none of us want to do it. We have a business partner, this guy Jay Coyle, who says he will do everything for us. So if we feel like we have more space on our plates in the future, we might do vinyl of it, the debut only thing. But for now, it's going to be digital only, full show. So no time limit.
Hmm.
That's the other thing about vinyl is there's this time limit that's hard to work with. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Is there any video from that show at all?
No. Well, there is, but it's horrible. It's like
Mm.
taken on somebody's flip phone. It's 1998, so
Right.
bad. Real bad. They're real
Right.
jittery and like blown out and yeah, so I wish that would be amazing.
Yeah. That'd be cool. Well, that's exciting. When do you think that's maybe dropping?
I don't know. We are notoriously slow, but I'm trying to keep the I'm sort of the Paul McCartney of the group where I'm like, let's keep this thing going. Come on, come on, come on, come on. So yeah, I got the cover art approved by those guys. I'm working on the back cover, and then it's just a matter of setting it up with our distributor. Um, they usually like 2 or 3 months lead time. So what are we in June? Probably that'll come out in like September, maybe something like that,
Hmm.
late summer if we keep rolling the way we're rolling. All the audio is ready to roll, so just have to do all the business on the back cover, which I know with digital you only really see the front cover, but they like you to have a back cover that you can also have people view. So, and that'll be where the credits are and all that shit. So,
Cool. Yeah,
yeah.
that'll be cool. So your new solo album will come out in September also then. So
No, actually, it's
oh,
coming out in July. Yeah,
July.
I
Okay.
do them in July and January. So
July.
it'll be July 15th, I think. It was the calendar. Here we go. This July 18th.
July
Yep.
18th.
And it's called Ready to Pop. And
Ready
yeah.
to pop. And the first single's out already. What? Melt into me. Is that
Well,
right?
me, yeah. And then the second single is coming out tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Wait, yeah, I should get my shit together. I just
Hey,
realized.
well, that's great because we're I'll air this tomorrow. So it is tomorrow. So it's today. It's out today.
Yeah, it's out today. It's called,
Wow.
wait, what is it called? And that it's funny, I put so much work into these albums and I get immersed into them. And then when I hand them in to my distributor 3 months before the release date, I uh, don't listen to them until the release date. So I can't remember what the singles are because I haven't listened to it. I purposely give myself 3 months off, and then on the release date for the album, I put on headphones and I listen to the whole thing for the first time in 3 months. And generally, it's a delight. I have very few regrets with the mixes and stuff. So the song that came out today is called Gravity Trap.
Gravity trap.
Gravity
Very
Trap.
cool.
Yep. And
Awesome.
there's a little lyric video circulating around so you can check it out.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Is that would that be cool if we played it after the interview, the lyric video?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
All right,
I'll send it to you.
cool. Well, we'll make that happen then. That's awesome.
Right
This
on.
is delightful. I feel very important right now. I
Wow,
feel
I am really glad that I have that power. I'll never forget when I was a kid, I went to see the English Beat at a big theater here in Seattle. And I just, oh no, I'm sorry, it wasn't the English Beat. It was Psychedelic Furs, quintessential 80s band. Anyway, I go see them. I didn't want to leave after the show was over. The house lights were on. I was kicking empty solo cups around the floor, and the guitar player for the Psychedelic Furs walked from, the backstage through the showroom to go out to the vehicle and head to the hotel or whatever. And as he walked by me, he said, "Hi." And I went, "Oh my God, the guitar player from the Psychedelic Furs saw me." Like I felt like you said, important. And
yeah,
ever since that moment, I was like, if I ever become famous, as a kid, I was just like, if I ever become famous, I'm gonna make sure to make people feel good and
yeah.
spend time and do more than high, even though high is generally enough. So anyway, I'm happy to make you feel important. It makes me feel good to make you feel good.
Yeah, yeah. It was pretty cool. Um, you guys played the Gilroy in Springfield, and this was in maybe 2016, maybe earlier than that.
It must have been earlier.
Anyway,
We played our last show in 2015, so
all right, so then maybe it was 2014.
yeah.
But I had never seen you guys live. I'd been like a lifetime fan pretty much. Like I said, told you on the maybe in the email, so not lifetime, but the minute your Buzz clip came out with Lump on the MTV, I
Yeah.
saw it and I was sold, And I tell the joke, I tell people, I said, some people remember when they landed on the moon, they remember where they were at and all that. I was like, I remember where I was at when I saw Lump, and I was like, these guys are the real deal. This is really cool.
That's
And
great.
but I
Yeah.
never got one other time in Lawrence, Kansas, you guys were playing and whatever happened, I couldn't go. And that was early on. That's because I was young, probably why I couldn't go.
Right.
But so then I'd never seen you, and then I finally got that deal. But I messaged Jason, I think is who I got through to, and he like give me a photo pass, so I could take pictures and stuff. So I was able to go up in front of the little
Oh,
barrier
nice.
and take pictures and stuff. It was really cool. I wrote a little blog for the newspaper that I worked at the time. It was, but I felt super cool, that day, just coming
Yeah.
up and getting my little photo pass at the. He's like, it'll be at the window for you.
Yeah, that's so cool. Do you have any of those pictures?
I do somewhere. I'd have to dig them up. One or two of them got print or didn't get printed, but it was an online thing at the time. But it's no longer there. But somewhere, yeah, I got them archived. The photos I took, and then of course I've saved the pass I had, and then I was able to go to your merch booth at the time, and or maybe I ordered it on your GoFundMe or something. But I got the
Yeah.
autographed CD of that album around
Oh,
that
cool.
time. And then I got your which I saved it. It's so cool. I got the your merch table had the last Caspar Baby Beatles album.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
so it had the little sticker that said like $5 each on it. And I
Right.
got I got the last one, the display, so I've still got the sticker that said $5. I thought it was so cool. I was like, yes, I got their display merch here. So
That's
it was
awesome.
exciting.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I was able to pick up the other live album you guys got. I got it on physical copy. I bought it at your merch table, but I had got a free digital copy with it because I think I whatever did your
Yeah.
GoFundMe on that album to get the CD or whatever.
Oh, was that thanks for the feedback?
Yeah, thanks for the feedback. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's with Andrew. Uh, yeah. So it's fun to put this rediscovered live show from the 90s out because it's got Dave on it. So you've
yeah,
got
yeah,
the Andrew
yeah,
era, different eras.
yeah. There's definitely I loved both because I watched you guys live, on TV and stuff in both versions, and so both versions had a very special thing about it. Like it was so
Yeah.
cool because, but yeah, Dave had he has a certain tone thing he did that was really cool.
Yeah, Dave
One
was
of
more like twang. He had settings going from like clean, twangy, articulate to like big muff, crazy. And we would like save the big muff for like maybe two or three times in the set, so it would just be like blah,
yeah,
crazy. Andrew's lowest setting is more kind of like already on the verge of distortion, and he goes up to like just a ball of craziness.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. He was.
he's a little more angled toward the like constant high energy than Dave was.
Uh-huh.
Dave had maybe more hills and valleys, but Andrew, man, I mean, we did 13. What did we do? Like 12 years with Andrew. We did 4 years, and then we were broken up for five, and then we did like 12 with Andrew. So yeah,
Wow.
he really kept the band, kept the heart of the band going for a long time. We made what? Let's see, we made two records with him. These Are the Good Times, People, and Kudos to You.
Yeah,
Yeah, good shit.
yeah, yeah. I think. I probably think my favorite album, which this is kind of unique for me, probably it's the one with the balloons on it, and
Yeah,
has
that's These Are the Good Times, People,
yeah.
or
I
or
really so
or you
uh
could say it, These Are the Good. Well, the reason it's called These Are the Good Times, People is because I really was losing interest on touring during that phase, and but I was doing it, but I wasn't really like, I could tell I was like, this doesn't feel good or whatever. And if we were in a backstage that was like dingy and shitty, and there's standing water on the floor, and there's like, warm deli tray and sweaty cheese and some weird potted meat that we're supposed to be eating, and it'd be quiet in the room because everybody's like, oh my God. And that's when I would say, these are the good times, people. Like, you asked for this. You wanted to go on tour. Here we go. This is it. So that's why it's called These Are the Good Times, people.
That's funny. That makes it even funnier. That
Yeah.
was the one. Well, that was the one that like you guys had came back and you got a different label, I think, put that out, and that's when you guys got like on America's Funniest Videos, one of your tunes. Is that right? Same album, the
Really? I
Fang
don't
song.
the
Yeah,
what?
yeah. The something about the Fang.
Oh,
It was
sharpen
featured.
up those fangs.
Yeah, they featured it on America's Funniest Videos with this like dog montage of these funny videos of dogs. It was so cool.
Really?
I was like, oh yeah, like yeah, it was cool.
I missed
So
that.
yeah,
I gotta find that on the old internet machine.
yeah, I can't remember. I just happened to be watching TV. I don't even didn't even really like that show or anything. It just happened to be on, but I heard that song and I was like, oh, this is awesome. So
That's
total new appreciation for that show because they
Yeah, yeah. Well, that show was a precursor to YouTube, basically. I mean, now we watch people falling off ladders while putting
yeah
up sites
yeah
all day
it's
long. Yeah.
every day. Yeah, you know yeah
You don't have to wait till Thursday at seven
yeah
or whatever it was. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that was cool, and I like the I think that's the same one that has the song Deleter on it. I really
Yes,
like
correct.
that tune.
That's
That's
a
got jams, man, it
It
jams.
is. Yeah, that's a I need now. I'm gonna when we sign off, I'm gonna listen to that record.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, dig that record. And Kudos to You is pretty funny too. There's so much energy. I was like, this is our last record for sure. So I just like poured so much energy into that album. It was really fun. And that was an album where I was really coming in with just song fragments and, bits and pieces. And Dave and I mean, sorry, Jason and Andrew really contributed a lot to, and our producer Martin Fevier, he also helped shape the songs and stuff like that. So it was the first album where I was like, I'm not going to try to be in control of everything. I'm just going to let you guys influence where we go. And it was nice to give up control. So that was my memory of making that record.
Yeah. It was a good record too. It was the one that had it's the second version of Good Morning Tycoon because you'd
Yeah,
done that
you're right.
before.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
I did.
like the President's version a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I did that with the Giraffes, the band I had
Mhm.
in between yeah, that was another thing I did while we were broken up. I did a band called the Giraffes for a while. And a few of those songs became President songs like Zero Friction and Some Postman was a Giraffe song that became a President's single. Anyway, shit like that. That's
Yeah.
all.
Well, I don't think I got the sec. I got one of the drafts. I think he had two drafts albums out, or maybe three, but two. I got. I don't think I got one, and then I got the first one, and then I didn't get the second one, maybe, and then maybe you did have three because
I did have
some.
three. And one of them's on my website only for
Yeah.
free. It's a double album because I kind of noticed I had all these giraffes, songs that were intended for the giraffes that never got released. So I made this double album. So yeah, there was self-titled, there was The Days Are Filled with Years, and then We Hear Music was the double album. And then I made an album with the band, the live version, but I never officially released it. But I think I put it on my website. So I have this website, chrisballew.org, and there's a ton of stuff on there if people are interested in digging in to the Dusty Vaults. And it's stuff that's available nowhere else, but it's downloadable for free. So you can just have it. There's like the Dukes of Pop, which was my band with Dave Dieterer back in the 80s. Um, there's all the sampledelic music that I did when I was making music for TV shows and stuff like that. There's my ambient music, which is music for like meditation or a lot of I hear from a lot of people who are writers that use it as background music while they're working and or artists. Anyway, so there's tons of weird stuff on my website that you
Mhm.
could have.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. I think that the reason I had the one that I heard the Good Morning Tycoon on. Okay, so when I was at the Gilroy show, I met this. There's this guy and his girlfriend that were standing there next to us, and he was really excited. And I had mentioned to him that I was like, "Oh yeah, I had this radio show," and I said, Andrew did an interview on my radio show one time when the guys were going to be playing in Kansas City, and I was like, it's really cool. And he's like, oh, I'd love to hear that. And I said, well, I can dig it up for you. I'm sure I can get you a CD copy of it somewhere. So I found the interview. I burned him a CD. I made him a little picture cover. And I sent it to him. He gave me his address. Well, he sent me back a burned version of that album. So
Oh yeah.
we've officially pirated you.
Okay. Yeah, I,
So,
I think people have pirated it. I got it. It was a weird one. I didn't release it officially because I didn't like the mixes. There was a lot of very high-end crackle. Well, not crackle, but just like the hi-hats and the cymbals and everything were just like really like burning my ears. And I didn't at the time, I didn't have the ability to fix that myself. I could
mm-hmm,
actually remaster it and maybe I should do that. That'd be a kind of fun Sunday afternoon.
mm-hmm.
Remaster that album and officially release it. Hmm.
Yeah. Because I think the one that's another song I haven't thought about in a long time, and I think it was a Giraffes release was "Sunshine Pig."
Yeah.
I love that song.
Big making his way through the universe. Wait, wasn't that? Wait a minute, Sunshine Pig. Well, that was a BMW commercial that I licensed that to a commercial for the Mini before the Mini was even released, like a teaser ad for the Mini.
Oh,
And
cool.
Chad from the Young Fresh Fellows and I had a business doing music for commercials and stuff like that. So yeah, we gave him Sunshine Pig and then an instrumental that Tad and I made. So are you saying that
Okay, so that was a Chris and Tad song then. Sunshine Pig was.
Sunshine Pig? No, it was all me, but we kind of, I had recorded it before Tad and I started collaborating, but we kind of
Okay.
called it Chris and Tad song, but it was,
Yeah.
yeah.
It would have been because I had one Chris and Tad CD, I think, and that's must have been where
That's
I heard.
all. That's
I
all.
thought it was Giraffes, but then maybe it was that one.
Yeah, that's all there is one. Although we have hundreds of songs that we recorded for a second record that we just never organized.
Uh-huh. And I had the reason I got the Chris and Tad album because I had on CD. It was, formally released and everything.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
found this really cool bookstore and I was trying to find, obscure stuff and they located that for me and ordered it and got it for me. I
That's
was
great
like,
because one of the
yes.
songs on that album is called Bookstore.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
I
Yeah.
don't remember that tune, but I did listen to the album a lot. I'm still got it somewhere. But I had ordered the giraffes. I knew you had the giraffes, and I special ordered it. And they had told me that you had something else that came up with your name, and it was this Chris and Tad project. And I was like, yeah, get me that too.
Yeah,
So it
wait a
was
minute.
cool.
Now I'm looking on, yeah, Bookstore. Here it is.
Bookstore.
I mean, meet me at the bookstore, baby. Meet me at the store. I'm so that probably sounded terrible, but yeah, Tad
Yeah.
coached me endlessly on how to sing that song. He's like, no, 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 you got to do a little more like that, a little more drawly, a little more this. It took like 2 days of him like telling me how to sing. That's funny. I haven't listened to that record in a while. That was made on 8-track cassette player. Oh, baby, lots of memories.
Yeah, yeah, you were doing those drafts were all on your cassettes. And the
Yeah,
guy that mastered, okay, so this is a fun story. Not that this is I'm interviewing you and here I'm telling you stories, but
that's fine. I
uh
like stories.
I looked inside of the giraffes and it was Mark Gunther who had mastered it. Like,
Right.
and so I was putting out this compilation album. This was years later, but I had some stuff that had came from cassette, and I thought, well, he's good at that, you know. So I call him up and I'm like, you know, hey, would you do this project for me? And he did. I think it was like 11 songs or something. He did it for like practically nothing. It was super cheap. He did a great job and everything for me. And I was like, yeah, because I thought it was so cool because apparently he engineered some of your songs when you guys were recording your first album. So
Mark did?
or co and yeah, I think he was like on the mixing board or whatever. I think he got
I
credits
don't
in the
I don't think I know. I knew Mark through Conrad Uno, who did it was his studio where we made the first record. Um, but I don't know. I don't think Mark was involved in the first record at all. I think I just when I was making the giraffe stuff, I asked Conrad for a recommendation and he recommended Mark. So yeah, no,
okay.
I don't think he was involved, but
Okay.
yeah, he was a great guy. He was really, like you said, cheap and talented.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's cool. Maybe he did something else. I thought he did something, but
Maybe he did.
maybe I'm
What
wrong.
now that you mention it, I think I'm seeing his name in the credits in my mind on the debut, but I just don't remember what he would have done. Maybe he did some mastering for us. Oh, he might have mastered the Pop Llama version of the debut.
Ah,
That's what I think happened. Yeah. Okay. Solved it.
cool. So that would have came out, and then you guys got the regular record deal, and so then they
Yeah.
remastered it for the
No,
Columbia.
we wanted to remaster it because it was kind of dull sounding. So we added bass to lump. We remixed a couple songs. We remastered some songs, and yeah, we did a bunch of stuff to it and made it snap, crackle, pop.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
All
Well, that's
right,
cool.
I should probably get toddling. I've got
Yeah.
uh, speaking of songs, I've got this song that's burning a hole in my head that I want to work on in the studio before I knock off for the day. So,
Well, sure,
do
man.
you have what you need?
I have what I need. I just wanted to talk about the album, the new song that can get the single today, and it's great to have you on the show. And I appreciate all you've did for music for these years. It's been wonderful listening to your stuff.
Very much appreciate that, Doug. You know, I don't interact with a ton of people anymore. Well, these days I'm kind of like being a little bit of a hermit right now, so it's nice to see your shiny face and hear that my music made a difference for you. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's great. Thanks a lot, man. Well,
Okay.
we'll be in touch maybe down the road when you go on tour with the presidents again. I'll come
Yeah.
see you.
When I go on tour with the Presidents, opening the show, me and my solo band. Yeah, it'll
Yeah.
be double bill. It'll be amazing.
Or your solo band,
Yeah,
whatever we gotta do.
I'll open as Caspar Babypants, and then I'll do the solo band. We'll do Presidents, then Chris and Tad. It'll be it'll be what we talked about, a musical review. All right, Doug.
Fantastic.
Take care.
Thanks, Chris.
See you next time. Bye.
Sunshine Big, making his way through the universe. Sunshine Big, making his way through the universe. Teflon hard, spaces now. Gun is big. Sunshine Big, making his way through the universe. Sunshine Pig, making his way through the universe. universe. Teflon hard, space is now. God is big. How did you ever get so? 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 How did you ever get so high?